Welcome to NewsWatch 12 this morning. I'm Carlos Murrieta.
And I'm Damian Alvarado. We first want to turn back to Storm Tracker 12 meteorologist Sarah Kress with a look at our weather this morning. I know as I was heading out the door, it did feel colder than what it did yesterday.
Yeah, definitely, especially if your area is over east side, you'll notice that. But as we're over into Medford, Talent, Phoenix, Gold Beach this morning, pretty much if you're along the Cascades West, we have a lot of cloud coverage going on for us this morning. Not quite as chilly compared to what we're feeling areas over east side, but right now we're at 32 into Klamath Falls, 42 into Montague, maybe a couple of degrees cooler as we're over into our west side valleys and along the coast this morning. But we'll see those clouds work their way out throughout the day today, and we'll be joined for mostly sunny skies into the afternoon. But taking a closer look, we're dry this morning. Just a little bit of feedback we got going on here. We could possibly see a light shower work its way in along the coasts this morning. But besides that, we'll be drying out through the rest of the day, and we'll see lots of sunshine into the afternoon. High temperatures are going to be pretty close to seasonal for us today, maybe just a few degrees cooler in some spots. Breezy along the coast, but we see those light breezes inland, but it'll be a bit breezier as we're into later today. But those highs, it will be into the 70s for the Rogue Valley, over into Northern California as well. 60s as we're working our way areas over east side. So overall, today's shaping up to be a great day, especially if you are looking to head outside. Now, the next couple of days, we're staying seasonal, and I'll have a closer look at what you can expect through the end of the week coming up.
Fire crews are continuing to respond to a vegetation fire near Spring Hill. As forward progress has been stopped at 12 acres this morning. Right now you're looking at that video that CAL FIRE shared showing the moment this fire erupted and what it looked like as it was burning some of that hillside. CAL FIRE did assist Mount Shasta Fire Department with suppression efforts.
Now, there is still one evacuation warning as of right now. MTS 6155 still remains under that warning as of right now. Like I just said, the fire is near Spring Hills Drive and Mount Shasta Boulevard. The cause of the fire still remains under investigation, and we will continue to track this fire on air and online at kdrv.com.
The city of Grants Pass is continuing to address their response to the unhoused population as residents continue to express their concerns. It's now been 1 week since the city expanded their main homeless campsite, even expanding into a residential neighborhood. Many residents on A and 5th Street are sharing their view since the expansion of the homeless camp onto their neighborhood, from turning a normal neighborhood into one covered in trespassing signs, cameras, and locked gates.
It's that way every single day. We have vagrants just walk right through the yard like it doesn't even exist.
3, 4 in the morning, somebody come through and try to open the cars.
So there was a lady passed out in front of that house, and I had to call the non-emergent line for the police to come do a wellness check on her.
We asked residents if they made their voice heard to city officials, and some said that they have. Others say that city council hasn't made themselves available to truly hear the concerns of residents.
Governor Kotek says she's continuing to fight for more homelessness recourses as the regular session concludes. New preliminary data shows the highest ever recorded number of homeless people in Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington counties. From her first day in office, Governor Kotek made it her mission to build more housing, rehouse those experiencing homelessness, prevent homelessness before it happens, and expand access to home ownership.
I have no hesitation to veto bills that do not move us forward. And I need to see budget bills that are actually prioritizing the things that matter to Oregonians. And my message is, send me good budgets, I would like to sign them. But don't send me things we don't need.
Governor Kotek says focal points in this legislative session include housing and homelessness, mental health, addiction care, and education. The session ends June 29th. And you'll have until 8 p.m. today to submit your ballot for the May special elections. While voter turnout is often lower for these elections, races on this year's ballots could have major impacts on local communities. Measure 15236 in Jackson County is a 5-year tax levy plan for Fire District 4 and Shady Cove. The measure would impose a 10-cent increase on the current levy that is set to expire on June 30th of 2026. The new levy will go from 99 cents to $1.10 per $1,000 of assessed value. The new levy would allow the fire district to continue to maintain its services and keep their staffing.
Measure 15237 also proposing a 5-year tax levy for Prospect fire protection. If adopted, this measure will impose a levy of $1.39 for the next 5 years. This is to provide funding for the maintenance of current staffing and resources, as well as build reserves for equipment and facility improvements. Without the levy, fire and medical services may be reduced and impact real property insurance rates and access.
And with over a little 12 hours left to submit that ballot, we have a full list of local measures and candidates running for each county in our region. Just head on over to kdrv.com and find the special election page for May 20th.
New this morning, the Oregon House of Representatives have passed a bill that would prohibit landlords from asking tenants about their immigration status. Senate Bill 599 would prevent landlords from discriminating against an individual based on the type of identification documents provided to them. It also prevents landlords from disclosing or threatening to disclose an applicant's or tenant's immigration status. The bill has already passed the Senate. It is now headed to the governor's desk, where Governor Tina Kotek can sign it into law.
Also new this morning, students are pushing lawmakers to pass a House bill in Oregon which would allow the youth to vote in school board elections. House Bill 3012, which was introduced earlier this year, would allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in nonpartisan school board elections starting in 2029. Right now, Oregon automatically registers 16 and 17-year-olds when they obtain a driver's license, but they do not receive a ballot until they are 18. Meanwhile, there are 21 states that allow 17-year-olds to vote in primaries if they will be turning 18 by the general election.
A 24-year-old man residing unlawfully in Jackson County has pleaded guilty to illegally possessing a firearm. Saul Uriel Nunez Vega admitted to having the weapon linked to a November 2023 attempted kidnapping and shooting in White City. Surveillance footage placed him at the scene prior to this incident. He was formally charged in December and now faces up to 15 years in prison. Sentencing is set for August 13th. The case is part of Project Safe Neighborhood, a nationwide effort to reduce gun violence. In continuing coverage, a proposed housing development in Eagle Point's urban growth boundary is stirring some debate. Last week, we talked to a local resident about the project, and we are now showing you that project. Skycrest Development wants to build a 131-acre development called Sky Ranch. Skycrest hopes to bring homes, parks, and even a grocery store to the corner of Alta Vista and Bigham Road. Mike Mose tells us he feels the city hasn't done enough to inform residents about this project, so he's doing it himself.
That is what I have attempted to do by distributing well over 100 flyers to the local neighbors who have, since I've done so, flooded City Hall with emails and concerns.
According to the city's public notice, Eagle Point has over 1,200 acres of urban reserve land set aside for future development since 2012. It has yet to be used. The developer's website says this project would include new roads, green space, and walkable shops. Now, if you want to learn more about the project or voice your concerns, a community meeting hosted by the developer is scheduled for today at the Eagle Point Golf Course Pavilion at 6 p.m. There will also be a formal public hearing set for May 27th at Eagle Point City Hall. More information on how to submit comment can be found on kdrv.com.
Oregon Senator Ron Wyden is sounding the alarm on federal budget cuts. He says the cuts are hitting Oregon's most vulnerable, especially seniors. During a Zoom interview with Wyden, he vowed to fight for senior nutrition programs, calling it both morally right and cost-effective. The Meals on Wheels program, which delivers nutritious meals to seniors, is on the chopping block as part of broader budget cut proposals.
The seniors can't get that help in the community. Very often they get sick and they need much more expensive care. So this is important from the standpoint of a humane approach in terms of caring for older people.
Wyden also warned that Oregon faces an earlier and longer fire season, putting even more strain on resources. Federal funding for wildfire prevention, research, and response has been delayed or slashed over the years. Wyden says he's working with local leaders and national officials to push for additional wildfire funding and resources.